All right, let's look at Standard 18. 18 is dealing with the Great Depression, and it reads the stem says the student will describe Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal as a response to the Depression and compare the ways governmental programs aided those in need. Alright, and that's the stem here on 18. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 substandards here. We're going to go through each one of those. Before we do, let's talk about this New Deal program. Herbert Hoover here, when he was president during the Great Depression, his policies revolved around laissez-faire. We've talked about this before. Government keeps its hands out of business, let them be. And so in his business-minded reactions to the Great Depression, he really didn't believe the government should become involved in regulating businesses or giving private individual aid to people. And so his economic recovery depended on the business community. He thought businesses could volunteer to help out with these things, not the government. And he also emphasized the importance of private charities and churches and things, local community type things, and caring for the unemployed, not the government. And he believed that, maybe the government should give federal loans to private businesses and to local governments, maybe, but not to individuals. So President Herbert Hoover does not believe in an active government. He believed in one that is reserved, laissez-faire, keep its hands out of this thing. That's going to change when the people elect in 1932 President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And those principles are not his. His are totally opposite. He surrounds his around active government, using the government to help the people directly, individuals. And he's going to reorganize the government and put some restrictions on businesses and regulate those banks and businesses that cause this mess. So he has a program, the 3 R's: relief, give relief to the people who are suffering, recover from the Great Depression, and then reform government and business in ways to make sure that the Great Depression never happens again. And he favors direct federal relief to individuals. And so his New Deal program is essentially a plan to end the negative effects of the Great Depression. The biggest negative effect of the Great Depression was widespread unemployment. So FDR is going to create a lot of deficit spending. What that means is the United States is going to go into a lot of debt. The federal debt is going to skyrocket because he's going to spend a lot of money to get us out of the Great Depression. And he wants to combat unemployment, this widespread unemployment, by taking the government and issuing to people public works programs or public jobs provided by the government rather than business. And let's take a look at that. Look at this spending here by the presidents, and we see it comes up with Wilson a little during World War I. It comes down during the Hardin and Coolidge presidency. With FDR in 32 in the Great Depression, we see what happens to spending. It skyrockets. So he creates a lot of debt during this time period. And if you see here, after 1945, after World War II, the debt comes tumbling down again. Okay, and we're going to look at that in just a few seconds. So FDR is going to use active government to give people government jobs or public works programs, the 3 R's, and he's going to help individuals directly in this New Deal program, which is a departure from laissez-faire. Now, this group of Republicans and businessmen that supported Hoover, they're not going to like FDR's New Deal program. So they're going to resist it as much as they can. And they're going to, even to this day, say that President FDR increased the size of the government, increased spending, increased taking taxes from middle-class Americans and the wealthy, and they're still complaining about his New Deal program as being too much government. All right, anyway, here's some cartoons of his critics. Here's a steamroller. New Deal spending is out of control. Here's one here where he pulls a rabbit out of a hat, reliable, with spinning across it. And here's some American taxpayer yelling, save, 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 to, the administration of FDR, and all it's doing is spin, spin, spin. These are some critics putting these cartoons in newspapers during this time of the New Deal. Here's another one, shows that he's the New Deal dealing cards socialist experiments. They accused FDR being socialist. Here's one here where he just shows FDR throwing money out the back of this car, and he's being accused right here of being communist. How red the sunrise is getting. And this is Stalin, the leader of Russia that was a communist country. Spin, spin, spin. These are some critics of FDR here, a dictatorship. They even accuse him of being a dictator. And here's one here that's made in 2008 as a correlation with Roosevelt here, the American people in recovery. Some detractors, some people who were opposed to, his New Deal programs or spending of government money helped get us out of the situation we're in. But many of the supporters believe that Roosevelt in his New Deal programs were really trying to give people hope so they wouldn't just give up on capitalism or the U.S. government and turn to communism or socialism, or actually communism as a way out. And he was rebuilding their trust and confidence in the United States. And we see that when he gets on his fireside chats and starts telling people that there are more people putting their money back in banks than there are taken out. And he had the Congress pass FDIC that guaranteed up to $5,000 in a banking account. We see that people's hope over time with Roosevelt are going to increase, and a lot of these people who suffered during this time are going to love Roosevelt. And here's the prevailing group of people, not his detractors, not the rich and wealthy businessmen who oppose the New Deal program, but the majority of Americans. Popular opinion, there was a primary political belief in popular opinion, those people in the United States, during the Great Depression, that the government should be active, that the government should have policies to help the economy, that it should help the people who were suffering. In other words, popular opinion, the people who were suffering during the Great Depression or hurting from it, felt our government should leave laissez-faire behind, and they should become more active in helping out people during this time of need. And so FDR during his New Deal program is going to create a lot of government agencies that are going to try to help people get back to work, pretty much, and to help those who are hurting and needed help, to give direct relief to them. One of the 3 R's. And here they are. Here we're going to go over some. Tennessee Valley Authority is in our standards. We're going to look at it in just a few moments. The Social Security Administration is in our standards. We're going to look at that a little closer. And here's a cartoon showing, FDR's New Deal program. There's TVA sock hanging down there, Christmas time. And I don't see, let's see, Agricultural Adjustment Act, CCC. I don't see Social Security up here. There's Public Works Administration. But here's a different one here. It shows all these relief measures. Here's Uncle Sam. The symbolism is Uncle Sam is sick. He's got his slippers on here. This is U.S. You see the stars and stripes down here. And he's sick and he's late. Now here's some medicine that FDR is going to bring to him, and he's the doctor here. New Deal remedies are going to try to fix him. Here's Congress back here. And this is just showing that FDR is trying new things, experimenting with new things with our government to try to fix this economy. All of his programs within the first 100 days are referred to as the first New Deal, or more commonly the first 100 days of FDR's administration, from March 9th to June 16th, 1933. The first 100 days, that's what you'll hear it is referred to as. Really means the first New Deal. The one we'll be looking at here is the Tennessee Valley Authority, is a program he put into place for several reasons, mostly as a works program to give people jobs, put them back to work. We're going to look at that closer in the next video. Some other ones are Civilian Conservation Corps, Agricultural Adjustment Act to help farmers, Emergency Banking Relief Act to help those banks that were closing and struggling where they wouldn't close, try and help some open back up. And then he's going to have the second New Deal, and really important for us in our standards in the second New Deal is the Social Security Act here. the Social Security Act, and the National Labor Relations Act are both in our standards. Works Progress Administration and the Securities and Exchange Commission to try to regulate stock market, make sure nobody's in there speculating, and that's going to cause a stock market crash again. And we're going to look at these two here a little bit closer, but they're during the second New Deal. And here's that chart again. Down here in green shows the New Deal, the second New Deal, and Social Security is part of that. And we have an obligation to look at that a little closer. And that's pretty much it for the New Deal and a brief explanation of that. And we're going to look closer at FDR's New Deal. So let's go ahead and move to the next video. If you have any questions in class about this New Deal programs, just raise your hand and ask me some questions. Good luck on the quiz test in the EOCT.